Okay, how am I doing with the lights here? This is super bright. I didn't want to adjust things, but I guess I'll have to get it right. Yep, I need a production assistant, don't I, huh? Bet you're sick of this, going through this with me. When I'm trying to get the lights right. That'll do. That'll do. Not the best, but that'll do, eh? Maybe dim this one a little bit. Will that be all right? All right. Commander Runningcloud here. Wow, I just had a really strong deja vu moment. Oh, it's freaky. It's still happening. I'm totally in deja vu. If you look right here, you can see the organism. I had such a rough day today, I'll tell you. That's why I'm so late getting on. I thought about getting on all day long ever since I got up, but I had such a hard day because, these biological weapons are still taking me on, and they're still causing me a lot of pain and distress and discomfort. So it's been just kind of difficult for me to function today. I don't know if you can see my belly, but it was hurting so much. I'm so fat, but they wanted me to get fat. It's been 6 months since the first nanobot infection was given to me in my right ear. And since then, my biological state deteriorated quite a bit. And you combine that with being confined to my quarters, and it's just been overwhelming sometimes for me to even try to get through the day. And today was a very hard day. Excuse me, I was really super tired. And I don't know if it's because, something with a chemical smell was being pumped in the room. Made me super tired. And I don't want to complain a lot. You want to know why? Because I want to take it very seriously being the commander. And commanders don't whine. And commanders don't cry. But being a leader can be very hard. So I've been happy for a lot of the support that I've been finding online here in YouTube. And today I found something that really got me excited, and that was Michael Sala's interview with a man who is an expert and a friend of the Sasquatch people. And I'll be sharing some of the information from his website with you later. But I just wanted to give you the update on my health. The good ETs and advanced beings are helping me heal quite a bit. You might remember that I had gotten matching sites where you could actually feel the things moving under my skin that were drawing down my skin and causing a lot of deterioration, in addition to the creatures living in my teeth and gums. So I've been getting healing, but it's going very slowly. So I feel discouraged because I know that if I leave in a van come July and I go driving off to California, I won't get medical treatment that I need, So constantly, all my hopes for the future exist in an intergalactic environment. There's no future for me here. So the healing process is taking a long time. And, managing my teeth is hard. It makes eating very difficult. But my team has been getting me food in and saying, "You're doing so well. Keep eating, keep eating, keep eating." But today, man, I felt really pregnant again. But I just wonder, how could that be? I think a lot about the religious context about it. You see, I'm pretty sure I'm a singularity, and I'm pretty sure that I haven't been reincarnated again and again and again. I'm more of a periodic appearance like Nibiru. I'm pretty sure of that, because one reason why I confirm that theory that I've had about myself is because so much of this world has taken me by surprise. If I had originated here, if this was a place where I'd come back again and again and again, I wouldn't have been so naive about how to survive here. I wouldn't have, used books and magazines to tell me how to get it right. Oh, there they go, playing with my lights again. They like to play with my lights. But don't think it's, anything special. It's just people outside the window using their remote controls. They turn that light off, they turn that light off. They're just playing with the electrical system. I think it's terrorism. I think cyberspace crime is terrorism too. Cyberspace crime is very, very concerning. If I thought that I was staying here, I'd be talking about very, very different topics. If I thought I was staying here, I'd still be trying to fix it. But since 2014, I've been reporting on crime after crime after crime, and no one's done anything about it. Everybody's just let crime be our reality. They've let criminals get rewarded. They've let criminals be the ones in power. So even if I was planning on staying here and complaining and trying to teach people about cybercrime, I mean, they are so all up in my iPhone that I don't even want to use my iPhone. And that's really affecting, my opportunities to develop my business, and do my hobbies. So it's really impacting the quality of my life. Oh, I guess they want that light off. Okay, great. Thanks. Sometimes I think maybe people out there are my friends as well as my enemies, but I don't really know. And I don't know how to find out either, I don't know, and I don't know how to find out. I don't know, and I don't know how to find out. I don't know what's that light behind my head. It's not this one. Oh, is it that one? Oh, well. Sorry about that, everybody. All right. Exopolitics diplomacy. Okay? Now, you might remember from a couple of days ago, we were reading the articles by Mr. Cabrera, who also has another name that you'll find him on Facebook with. And we were sort of defining what exopolitics, citizen exopolitics would consist of. And then yesterday, I talked about how moving on as an intercultural community, we still have grievances amongst ourselves. We still have grievances. And how do we address them? Well, one way that I've realized today is I, honest to God, do not carry a lot of hostility in me when I'm just my inner self. My inner self is loving and understanding and curious. It's only when I'm provoked, and that's something recent. I used to be, you could provoke me a lot, and I still would not come to any hateful kinds of conclusions. I wouldn't declare war on you or anything like that. I would just kind of say, oh, that person's got issues, or oh, that's that. It didn't really touch me. Excuse me, until being persecuted became my only life, that I was chased everywhere. And then when I was attacked with the bioweapons, that was the last straw for me. That was when I just became easily triggered towards anger and supportive of acts of war on my behalf. When it's time for war, it's time for war. And when it's time for war, you really cannot love your enemies, because you could never hurt something that you love intentionally, unless you're a sadist. And I'm not a sadist. So although I'm not a Christian, I do come from the people that started Christianity. You know, I do come from the ancestors of Jesus. So that cosmological opinion of life is very much a part of me. The only reason I'm not Christian is because when I was first learning about Christianity, it said, this is the only way. You know, if you're not a Christian, you're not going to be going to heaven. And I said, oh, well, that's not anything I want to be a part of, because I know too many good people in other religions that deserve heaven as much as anybody else. And I know enough people that do not deserve heaven in in Christianity to not believe that all you have to do is say, I'm sorry, God, and everything is forgiven and you can carry on. I say all this to say that once we sort of transcend religion and race and class and appearance, the body container you come in, there are things that everybody on earth has in common, things we have in common with each other. And it is because we all crave to be a part of a society that it becomes important for us to actually talk and define our commonalities. So I titled this talk, Value Systems of Earthians, or Earthian Value Systems, because I believe that when we make our new start, we're going to be in a new world. And we may not have access to all the foods that we're used to, but as a community coming from the same place, we'll all be getting used to new things together. And that togetherness means something to each one of us. A lot of us in this party were outcasts for the things we believed, for our advanced thoughts that are just now coming to the forefront as reality. When I first encountered the Sasquatch culture, it was only through telepathy. And it was when I was in Arizona. And I did reconnaissance in Arizona for a number of years while I was living there. And after Trump closed the border, I was really able to travel very far. And I was driving a Honda Civic hybrid, which could get up to 50 miles. No, it could get up to 514 miles to the tank. So I could go places where they didn't have gas stations. I could really get into the hinterlands where the only gas was on private property, and that's where they got their gas supply. Now, that car did give me breast cancer, and Honda knew that the hybrid gave people breast cancer. And when the Arab immigrant sold me the car, he knew that it was causing cancer. But I showed up desperate for a new car, you know. So it was the cutest little thing. But the mechanics wouldn't touch it. When the air conditioning went out, the mechanics wouldn't touch it. And that's when I put two and two together and said, Oh, that's where I got the breast cancer from. That car with the atomic engine. The mechanics told me that that engine had atomic power, had nuclear power in it or something. But fortunately, before I knew, and before I got stricken with cancer, I was able to travel quite a bit into lands where most people didn't get to go. This is off the beaten path, and you couldn't get new gas. So I learned a lot about Arizona. I learned a whole heck of a lot about Arizona and about the invasion of Arizona, the theft of water, the theft of land. And if I was going to stay here, if I was going to continue on the earth, it would be worth talking about. That's what I would be talking about here. Now, I did see people, in YouTube who are discovering, about the plans to build aqueducts and make everybody buy water. So I see the other human beings are catching on, but they're not going to be able to do anything about it. We've been watching atrocities one after another, and we have not had any power to do anything about it. We have not been able to save ourselves, and I don't see that trend ending. And that's another reason why I think that I'll be going off this planet. Now, I still believe that there's a possibility that I will be a time traveler who will leave this planet but come right back to fix that problem with the water, to fix that problem with criminals in cyberspace, to straighten out Apple for opening up their phone to cyber criminals instead of respecting the privacy of the consumer. I can do all those things when I come back. So part of the work I'll do when I leave, if I'm coming back to solve these problems, part of the work I'll do is define them and talk about them. But this is more of a time for defining our community of people that are on my crew, people that are going Star Trek people that are already working on Earth, and the beings that will be relocating, because beings of all races will be locating. If the Earth is under a threat, well, the Sasquatch are not going to stay here. The dwarves have already migrated. They were one of the first groups out of here that I saw. But the Sasquatch might still be here. So there might be Sasquatch on board. It's certainly a possibility, considering that I have known them myself. And after watching Michael Sala's report today, I understand why I know them, and I understand their culture much, much better. And I'll share all that with you. If you want to look ahead a little bit, the Michael Sala report is called Contact with Sasquatch and Their Message to Humanity. And that's also under World Religions and Extraterrestrial Contact, Suppressed History, Origin of Atlantis and Lemuria, and a Return of the Creator Gods, presented by Michael Sala. Oh, that's an advertisement for something different, I think, because this particular one doesn't really deal with all of that much. This is Contact with the Sasquatch and Sunbow True Brother. Sunbow True Brother is the interviewee, and he describes the Sasquatch culture just beautifully. It really integrated a lot of my experience for me. And you will find Mr. True Brother on scenicsasquatch.com. That's SCENICSASQUATCH. scenicsasquatch.com. You'll find his website. And the Sasquatch message to humanity has to do with peace and love and unity and transcending violence and difference. So let me tell you my Sasquatch story. You can read it in the comments of Michael Sala's interview. But when I was doing this reconnaissance in Arizona, a friend of mine later called it reconnaissance. A NASA scientist later called it reconnaissance. I just thought I was working for Trump and Company, for the group that was trying to liberate humanity from our oppressors. And this was in the beginning, before I knew about the reptilians and the Pleiadians and the other bad ETs. And this is back when I still thought that maybe Elon Musk wasn't a Nazi. Maybe Starlink wasn't a weapon system. This is back when I was very young and naive, and I was just learning about the people at my level and the evil things that they were doing to make sure to hurt the Americans. Now, a lot of people in the world call the Europeans from America Americans. And maybe that's their nationality, but it isn't their race. The race of Americans are multicultural. Many, many people have lived in America for thousands of years. And after thousands of years, you become an American. Okay, you're definitely an American. If you're a conqueror or a colonizer and you came, in the 15 to 1700s, then you're a colonizer or a conqueror. You're still a European. But there are races of people that have been in America. And the thing about calling the Europeans in America Americans is it gives Americans no name. So you get Americans trying to borrow the name of the East Indians and calling ourselves Indians. And then the ones of us that have African qualities, African features, African blood mixed in with our Indian blood, well, then we're called the Black Indians. And the ones out west are called the Red Indians. And the ones up north, the Iroquois, they're the White Indians. But we're all the Americans. And when the people want to steal your identity so they can steal your land and kill your people, taking your name is the first step in that. So the Americans are a very multicultural race that includes everything that's been living here for eons and eons and eons. And I want to make that clear because that's who's leaving here with us. That means that the people leaving here have a certain quality of heart and a certain level of intelligence that doesn't judge a book by its cover, that doesn't judge a man or woman or child by the appearance of that thing. We all have the power to see beyond the superficial. And that is why we are the chosen ones to work together for whatever purpose. Okay? If we are to be the only survivors of a dying planet, then you can understand why our identity would be united and why that united identity would be something we would want to take forward with us. If you believe that we are going to be time travelers and Star Trekkers that are going to be able to come back to the earth and address the oppression and crime mentality that dominates here, then you would still have to have that same sensibility, that same value system, right? We all value food, good food, but we have different ideas what good food is. In a way, but in another way, we don't. Because if you have a tongue and a nose and a mouth, then taste is something real to you. And you're going to like things that taste delicious. And because our tongues are developed pretty much to sense and taste the same variety of sensations, of flavors, we can pretty much bet that our taste in food will be able to accommodate to the new food supplies. That we will all be pretty much seeking the same thing in taste. Now, we know that there have been people that have traveled the world and eaten foods that other people might find offensive, disgusting. Well, if we are all to find new food in our new world, in our new lands, then that won't be as much of an issue anymore because we'll all be working from the same start, the same beginning. We all like to live in shelter, and we like that shelter to be familiar. We like that shelter to have things that have meaning to us. So we're all going to want a home. We're all going to want a home to live in. We're all going to want some place where we can settle. Even if we are nomads, we're going to want environments that are familiar. I believe. I could be wrong about that when I think about what one of the Sasquatch said in one of the accounts I read from True Brother. Is that his name, True Brother? Yes, one of True Brother's accounts. Now on YouTube, somebody has taken his book and put it in 3 parts that raise the highlights. And I listened to a little bit of that on the website, but the guy did so much of his own opinion in there instead of just delivering Mr. True Brother's stuff that I got a little frustrated with trying to read it because I wasn't interested in the interpretation, especially from that person. He didn't sound like a person with powerful psychic abilities. But one of the messages to humanity that he interprets from Mr. True Brother's book is this quote: "We were also gifted with powerful psychic abilities that we have kept to this day, including telepathy, mind reading, remote viewing, hypnosis, astral projection, and dematerialization of ourselves." Now, I thought that was very, very interesting. When I think about the disease that is infecting me, and it's been 6 months now, and I remember the first night that the nanobot was in my ear, I thought, oh my God, I sure hope I don't have to live with this for a very long time, because I wasn't sure if it was organic at that time. It wasn't until I could actually hear the metallic in it and actually feel the metal. But that's pretty much out of my 3D, but it is still lingering in my etheric body, but it's going away. So I am being healed. You can see the scars are not as bad even. The scars on my face are not as bad. So you can see I'm being healed. It just takes so long. So when I read the report today, when I listened to the interview and visited the website today of Mr. True Brother, I was really impressed with another confirmation of the fact that life is interdimensional. and that beings can come as bioweapons from the interdimensional realms. And when you think about how the bad human beings have sold us out to experiments and things like that, that further confirms the interdimensional quality of the disease that was given to me and the disease that I am fighting every day. And I just had a really, really hard day today with the pain in my stomach, feeling like I'm 9 months pregnant and ready to give birth. That's how I freaking felt today. But this could just be another bioweapon for all I know, instead of the seeds of a new race. When Mary Magdalene gave birth to Jesus Christ, when Mother Mary, was she the same as Mary Magdalene? When Mother Mary gave birth to Jesus Christ, she created a new race, right? Jesus Christ created Christians, and the Christian movement took over so many people and so many races. It became a universal movement. So if we are on the brink of the creation of the next Jesus Christ incident, then I have to claim my role in it. I have to claim myself as a part of it. I have to claim myself as the reincarnated Mother Mary. And today I just felt so close to the delivery date, but I'm still here. So in addition to fighting the bioweapons and fearing the bad ETs out there and all the other, being a prisoner here, not being able to go outside, and listening to my dog cough because there's a different kind of air in here, but still tainted air. Not right this minute. Everything's being resolved, so I don't have the right to complain. And I'm sorry I keep whining and complaining. It's not very leaderly, but I had a really hard day. And part of the reason I had a hard day is because last night I went through so much healing that my body was exhausted, and things were being killed, inside of me, and that has a certain cost. And it's hard for me to eat because of my teeth, and I'm super hungry, like starving. So let me read some more excerpts from Mr. Trueblood's work. I know that the topic of this is exopolitical diplomacy, but I pretty much said what I want to say about that we all living beings have things in common. Like, we want good food, we want shelter, we want community, we want to be safe, we want to have privacy so we can maintain our dignity. We want to have dignity. We want to have respect from the community. We want to be loved. I'll even go as far to say that we want to have partners. We want to have spouses. We want to have families. And we want to have economic systems and opportunities to achieve. And we want to be rewarded for our achievements. And we don't want our achievement awards to be based on how we look or what we say. We want it to be based on our contributions to society, our contributions to the collective, our contributions to life. And we want those contributions to be fundamentally positive. And I believe that these are the values that we all share. And I believe that we also share the value of accepting each other in different bodies and different frequencies. Okay? Because my Sasquatch experience did not have a Sasquatch in it, except through mental telepathy and my awareness. And I didn't tell you the story. While I was doing my reconnaissance in Arizona, after a couple of years, I got really known by the watchers there, by the people that do surveillance. And if you doubt that people do surveillance there, I actually had a fellow who was looking for an editor for his book for a hot minute. And one of the documents that he handed to me to read explained how he was asked to do surveillance. Okay? So we all know that Lions Club, Rotary Club, Rangeland Organization, the Grangers, we all know that those organizations pay a lot of spies that keep track of Americans, especially American heirs and heiresses. Targeted individual gang stalking was done by these groups of people. So we all know these people are real. So they get a hold of me, and they're after me now. And I know they're after me now. I know they're chasing me. I know they're ultimately trying to harm me. So they send somebody out after me, somebody pretty well known, as a matter of fact, and his wife. And I'm really feeling hunted. So so I'm on this highway, and there's like nobody else on the highway, and it's starting to get dark. Okay, it's dark. It's late at night, and I'm still hours from Phoenix. I'm in northern Arizona, and I'm still hours from Phoenix. I got to rest. Well, even though it was dark and I don't see that well at dark, I saw a road. And I just said, I'm going to turn off this road. And I did. And it was a dirt road. So I didn't go very far down the road. But shortly after I entered the road, and there are lines of trees all around the road. But shortly after I entered the road, I was told, turn here. I mean, it was like, turn here. And I turned right into a parking spot. It was like a parking spot. And there was a rock there and things like that. And I just felt somewhat safe, okay? I felt safe enough to get out of my car and relieve myself, go to the bathroom, which is something I didn't usually do at night. But I don't know, I felt relaxed. So I got out of the car, which I'm usually afraid to do at night, and used the bathroom there. And then I just fell asleep. And I felt safe, and I felt relaxed, and I felt comfortable, which was unusual for me on those Arizona roads because of all the people that would come after me. But I also felt that I was being watched. I didn't feel alone. I felt being watched. But I felt that the watchers were protecting, not looking to harm me. So I slept very contentedly. And I just knew that I was in Sasquatch territory. I just knew it. And I don't even know if I could find that road again. Either one, the main highway that I found myself on or the side road. I don't know where I was. I just know that entire night, not a single other car went by that I saw or heard, because they might have seen me parked behind those trees. So I might have felt alarm or stress. So I don't even know. There are parts of Arizona where they're able to change your ability to access a road. The road gangs north of Wickenburg would do this pretty regularly. They would turn two-lane highways into one-lane road so that they could run the headlights into your face and scare you. So senior citizens would learn not to make the drive from Phoenix to Las Vegas if they valued their lives. But I've reported on that again and again and again in Facebook and Twitter and here on YouTube. There's no point in me explaining that again, especially since that's the past and we're trying to move on into planning for our departure, planning for our future, and getting oriented so that when we meet and we're all on board and we're headed towards our destination, that we at least have some common ground, common conversation to build upon. And that's what I'm doing now. So I'm trying as best as I can to stay in the future mind, but I can't do that, especially when I'm suffering so much in this reality because my teeth are a serious, serious problem. But I'm being healed. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please continue to heal me. I can't wait till you get to my teeth. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So please think about what you think are values that Earthians, and Earthian is a term that includes all races of beings leaving with us. What do Earthians in the third dimension value? Okay. Now, we've learned that Sasquatch are multi-dimensional people, but they exist in 3D too. So while they're in 3D, what's important to them? Because if we do not define ourselves, we will be defined. And we will be defined from observations. And we all know that we have not been allowed to represent ourselves, that we have been represented by other people who have been anathema to our lives. They've been against us. So we have to define ourselves and our values. I've tried to outline ways that we can go about it. I'm asking you, as exopolitical diplomats, to do the same. If you are an exopolitician, please listen to what we are saying so that you can come to the kind of conclusions that will let you be a good representative of our interests. Okay, so the person that made the video did a few screenshots of what the Sasquatch said according to Sunbow True Brother. So I'm going to read a few of those to you in this sharing from the Sasquatch by Sunbow True Brother, as it was done on the YouTube part 3, which is a summary of it. But once again, I didn't enjoy listening to the summary. He spent too much time editorializing. But these are direct quotes from the book. You must first start by finding back your connection through nature with the soul of our Mother Earth, which connects us all as relatives. On this path of conscious evolution, you must recover your spiritual gifts and psychic abilities that were encoded into your DNA through your ancestral starseeds. The next quote: the greatest intelligence is the intelligence of the heart, the seat of the soul and strongest source of magnetism in our beings. It allows telepathic communications on the etheric level, as well as astral projection and real empathy. Through the heart, we can feel what other beings feel and know natural compassion. Telepathic connection is not through the mind, but through the soul. Here's the next quote: the act of reproducing without this consciousness, as you are pressured to do by the lower lords, can give any odd result and allow any soul to incarnate, some who can be unrelated or not helping your individual and collective evolution. This explains the reason why all of your species, only yours, seems to overpopulate and take over every other. Only spiritual dharmic conception can solve your problem, meaning that when you are ready to conceive and give birth to a soul, you do it for the greater soul. The next quote from this summary, YouTube summary: your people and my people are also star people, not only by our DNA star seeds, but also by our souls. What makes a species star people is their ability to bridge worlds through interspecies soul relations. Well, that's a value that I just spoke of. So there it is from the Sasquatch. You can find all these quotes on the web page that I told you about before, scenicsasquatch.com. And I'm going to read more of what we've got here on the page. Open yourself up to accept and receive the information. Here's the next quote I'll share with you. Long before us, when this planet was young, the star elders created fish people, lizard people, and bird people that have been remembered by some of your most ancient cultures. We are all distant relatives in the great chain of life, but my people and your people are more closely related, sharing much of the same DNA code. During the interview, we're actually told that we share 99% of the DNA with the Sasquatch. And here's the last quote I'll share with you. You must deprive the lower lords of their power over you and withdraw your support in all forms to their enslaving system. Recover the sovereignty of your soul and find your ways of self-governance through your spiritual circles, aligned with the divine law and order. That's a very good one to end with, because that is the purpose of exopolitical diplomacy, to redesign our ways of self-governance through our spiritual circles. And I guess if I am holding, people of the future, I don't think I'm the only human being charged with this role. But I do believe I am the leader of such women. So I'm hoping that we'll be leaving soon, because I don't like suffering so much. And I don't like being a whiny crybaby. I don't like it. I'm embarrassed. I would like to be a strong and effective leader. But frankly, part of me doesn't believe any of this stuff. It's only been a couple of weeks since I got confirmation from Michael Sala and Stephen Greer. And although I've been, learning a lot and getting a lot of confirmation from Colvin Hill, she was really the primary voice that was confirming things I had myself seen in the sky, but not with a trained eye like hers. So now I've got Colvin Hill joined by Sala and Greer and Farsight. How could I forget Farsight and Harvey? Oh my God, that was like instrumental to this new trajectory that we're on right here. So bear with me as I work through, it's very hard to be in pain every day for over 6 months. And even though I can see the disease retreating, I still see its heart beating, I still feel it thumping, much weaker than it was 2 weeks ago, but still present. And thank you for joining me. Thank you so much. Let me try to find, that right tab. There I am. There I go. I was over on the other webpage. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so happy for all of us. I think that we are going to have a beautiful future. And I don't know about you, but when I look at the news and I look at what other people are saying, and I hear them rehashing things again and again and again to prevent panic, I can't help but feel that we are so lucky that we don't have to live in this world the way it is anymore, coming soon. Because the way the evil has structured this world, it isn't really worth our existence. It's not worth our time. It's not worth our energy. It's not worth our existence. But we will have a world. We will have lives that are worth living. And I'm so happy for us. I hope you're happy for yourself. Thank you for joining me.